Hello dear students and welcome to the class of economics. So dear students, as we have discussed the chapter first in our previous videos, now this is chapter second which we have started already. Now this is part second or second video of chapter second, that is consumer's equilibrium. Now here today's video we will discuss law of diminishing marginal utility. If you could remember, in the previous video we did the concept of utility, total utility, marginal utility with schedule and diagram. Now today we are going to discuss law of diminishing marginal utility, which is a very important concept. Okay, it covers good marks in the examination, so you please try to focus here. Now law of diminishing marginal, law means any kind of law which is made by certain economists. Now diminishing means decreasing. Remember, diminishing means something which is declining or decreasing. When we say marginal utility, it can be marginal utility which we have discussed. That means marginal kind of satisfaction, we can call it in other ways. The satisfaction which is keep on diminishing, keep on decreasing. And why, that we will discuss here. Law of diminishing marginal utility states that as we consume more and more units of a commodity, the utility which we derive or which we get from each successive unit goes on decreasing. Let me explain you. Say for example, if you are very thirsty, okay, you came just, it's a summer season, you came from outside and you are very thirsty. Okay, as you have one glass of water, the first glass of water, as you drink that first glass of water, it will give you immense satisfaction. Why? Because your thirst is over now, but still you want some more glass of water with that. As you drink second glass of water, your marginal utility, that is your satisfaction, is somewhat decreasing, that is declining. As you go on taking some more glass of water, that is all successive units, okay, other second, third, fourth and fifth glass of water, the satisfaction which you get from the first glass of water, that will be highest. Then from other second, third, fourth glass of water, it will, the satisfaction you will get, but it will decline, it will somewhat decrease, and at one point of time your satisfaction will be completely over, zero. And after that, if you are forcefully, आप जबरदस्ती एक और glass पानी का पीते हैं, then your utility will shift it to disutility, that is negative utility. Okay, so that is what we are discussing here in diminishing marginal utility. Law of diminishing marginal utility has universal application. As I said, gave an example of a glass of water for a thirsty person. So it is actually a universal concept. It happens with we all. Okay, it is universal means it is applied everywhere. Okay, we human beings, we are not satisfied with one thing. Okay, like you have purchased clothes, you are purchasing chocolates, you are purchasing many other things, many kind of consumer goods. So you are not skipped to one good only. Every time you wanted something new, कुछ नया चाहिए आपको, okay? So you are getting bored with one thing. एक चीज़ से आप बोर हो जाते हैं, आप और उसे कंज्यूम करते हैं और कंज्यूम करते हैं, क्या देखते हैं कि धीरे धीरे उससे मिलने वाला आपको सेटिस्फैक्शन है वो कम होता जाता है. Then you shift to some other kind of goods, other variety of goods. So it happens with we all. So the satisfaction which we are getting, okay, with all the goods at one time, okay, so it is going to diminish always. And it is an universal concept which is applying to all goods and services. This law was first given by the German economist, that is H. Gaussen. That is why this particular law is called as Gaussen's first law of consumption. Like suppose, another example I am giving you, suppose you have a packet of chips, okay, you have one packet of chips, and when you are very hungry, feeling very hungry, when you start eating the chips, okay, one by one, when you start eating them, the satisfaction which is very high when you start eating the chips, as you take the successive units of chips, that is as you continue eating, your satisfaction slowly or gradually decreases, okay, and decreases until you reach the end of the packet, and it decreases until you reach the end of the packet, that is the last chip which is left. So what we notice, that as you started eating the chips, your satisfaction was highest, and as you move to successive units of the chips, your satisfaction was decreasing, diminishing. Okay, suppose your father has just come from work and you offer a glass of juice, just like I have given an example of a glass of water, and your father is very tired, you offer him one glass of juice. That first glass of juice will give him immense satisfaction, that is highest satisfaction. and the satisfaction within this, when he reached to second glass of juice, the satisfaction will be somewhat decreases or relatively lesser than the first level of satisfaction or first glass of water. When with further consumption, that means if you are offering after 1, 2, 3rd, 4th, 5th or 6th glass of juice, with further consumption of the glass of juice by your father, a stage will come when he would not need any more. That means a time will come when your father will not need any glass of juice. Why? Because now his satisfaction is all over. So any more glass of juice, that is when the marginal utility drops to 0, and till it drops to 0, that is his satisfaction which he gets from or which he derives from each glass of juice, when it becomes 0, he will, after that he will stop the consumption because he don't need any more glass of juice. Still after that point, if he is forced, that means if you are forcing him to consume one more glass of juice, okay, so that utility which he is getting from that last glass, it will convert to disutility, that is negative utility, okay. And such a decrease in satisfaction with consumption of each successive unit occurs due to law of diminishing. That means why this happens, why our utility or satisfaction after consuming each successive unit, it goes on decreasing, because there applies law of diminishing marginal utility. And as I said, it is an universal concept, it applies on all goods and services. Now we can make it clear with the help of this schedule and diagram, okay. Now you can see this is a schedule or table where we can see that these are the units of oranges. We are taking an example of the orange. Suppose for example a person who is eating oranges, he has got 7 oranges with him, okay. The first orange when he eats, that is the first unit of consumption, the utility which he will get is 10, okay. Now when he consumes the second oranges, his utility declines from 10 to 8, and why it happens? Because of law of diminishing marginal utility. The first bite or the first piece of orange or unit of orange has given him immense highest satisfaction. As he consumed the successive unit, that is second unit of orange, it will give him lesser satisfaction in compared to the first orange. Then he eats the third, again the satisfaction or marginal utility will decline. As he ate the fourth, again it will decline. It happens up to fifth unit of oranges. Up to fifth unit of orange, his satisfaction or his marginal utility will be keep on declining. But what will happen when he will eat sixth unit of orange? Now it is completely 0. That means as he ate the sixth piece of orange or sixth unit of orange, his marginal utility or the level of satisfaction which he gets from the sixth orange, it is completely 0. That means he is not getting any more satisfaction, okay. Now if forcefully, if he is made to consume the 7th oranges, then what will happen? The 0 level of satisfaction will convert to negative satisfaction. Now it comes to -2, that is the utility will become disutility if he is forcefully eating the 7th piece of orange or 7th unit of orange. Now what we notice in total utility, we discussed in the previous video also, if marginal utilities keep on declining because of law of diminishing marginal utility, the total utility will keep on increasing up to 6th unit, 10, then it becomes 18. That is, we are making summation of marginal utility to get the total utility, the formulas which I have told you earlier. Then 10 plus 8, 18, then 18 plus 6, 24, 24 plus 4, 28, 28 plus 2, 30, 30 plus 0, 30 again. So here what we notice at this stage, the total utility is constant, it is same. When marginal utility is negative, the total utility at that point of stage, the total utility will keep on declining, okay. Now we can understand this with the help of the diagram also. Here we can see that OY axis we are having marginal utility, at OX axis we are having units of oranges. Now you can see the first unit of orange when he ate, then what we noticed, the utility was 10. When he ate second oranges, the utility was 8, and we are actually combining these, okay, with the help of this graph. Now what we notice, as we combine all the points at the 6th orange or at the 6th unit of orange, the utility which we will get is 0. zero marginal utility. Okay, after that if he keep on continuing, that is if he keep on continuing or consuming the 7th orange, the utility will convert to disutility, that is negative marginal utility. And what we notice in the curve, that it is downward sloping. You can notice that this curve is downward sloping. When we say downward sloping, that means diminishing marginal utility. And why it is downward sloping? Because the marginal utilities keep on decreasing or declining because of the effect of law of diminishing marginal utility. In the diagram of the units of oranges we have shown in x and y axis. Now as seen, the rectangles, that is all these rectangles which we see all these rectangles which we see, these rectangles are gradually declining. What we notice, their shapes or their sizes are gradually declining. Okay. Now these rectangles which are showing the satisfaction level become smaller and smaller with increase in consumption of orange. That is, as the person is keep on consuming more and more orange, what we notice, the rectangles which are showing the satisfaction level, it is becoming smaller and smaller. Marginal utilities keep on falling till 5th unit of orange, and at 6th unit of orange the marginal utility becomes 0, and that point will be called as point of satiety or point of satisfaction. That means at that point the satisfaction is all over, it is 0. When forcefully he will eat 7th unit of orange, if it is consuming, the marginal utility will becomes negative marginal utility, that is disutility, and because of this the curve slopes downward. Now after this we will discuss the assumptions. That means when we say that law of diminishing marginal utility applies, there are supposed to be certain assumptions. That means there are certain assumptions. When we assume, there are certain conditions, on those conditions only this law can apply. If the conditions are something different, that means this law will not apply there. So we are going to study only those conditions. If these condition prevails or is there, then only law of diminishing marginal utility applies on all goods and services. First, the quality of each successive units of goods should remain the same. Now this assumption I am trying to explain you with the help of the example of oranges. Okay. Now when we say the quality of each successive unit, that means we have taken 7 units of oranges. The quality of each oranges must be same. Okay, it's not like that एक 40 रुपीस kg का ऑरेंज है और एक 60 रुपीस kg का ऑरेंज है और एक 120 रुपीस kg का ऑरेंज है. Why? Because quality should not change. Quality of each and every orange must be same. अगर क्वालिटी एक ऑरेंज की ज़्यादा है, एक 60 रुपीस kg है, एक 80 रुपीस kg है, तो इट्स ऑब्वियस कि 80 रुपीस kg का जो ऑरेंज है वो आपको ज़्यादा सेटिस्फेक्शन देगा. अगर आप उसे सेकेंड यूनिट में सेकेंड नंबर पर कहते हैं तो उससे आपको सेटिस्फेक्शन ज़्यादा मिलेगा, विच इज़ नॉट ट्रू. देन लॉ ऑफ डिमिनिशिंग मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी विल नॉट अप्लाई देयर. ओके, सो लॉ ऑफ DMU विल अप्लाई व्हेन क्वालिटी ऑफ ऑल द ऑरेंजेस मस्ट बी सेम. सारे जो ऑरेंजेस आपने कंज्यूम करें या कोई भी आप गुड्स कंज्यूम करते हैं उनकी क्वालिटी सेम होनी चाहिए. ओके, इफ द क्वालिटी ऑफ द गुड्स इंक्रीजेस और डिक्रीजेस, the law of DMU will not apply there and may not be proven true. So there should not be any change in the quality of the goods, like a vanilla ice cream. Okay, when you wanted to eat an ice cream, there are many flavors available. Some are costing high price, some are of better quality, some are of lower quality. अगर एक vanilla का ice cream का आप कप consume करते हैं, उसकी quality somewhat lower होगी in comparison to those cup of ice cream which has certain fruits and nuts, that is नट्स और उसमें कुछ और टॉपिंग्स होगी, तो वो आइसक्रीम की क्वालिटी वेनीला आइसक्रीम के कप के आइसक्रीम की क्वालिटी से कहीं ज़्यादा होगी. ओके, सो इट शुड नॉट बी डन, अदरवाइज लॉ ऑफ DMU विल नॉट अप्लाई. सेकेंड इज अ रीजनेबल क्वांटिटी ऑफ कमोडिटी शुड बी टेकन. दैट मीन्स जो क्वांटिटी है आपकी ईच एंड एवरी सक्सेसिव यूनिट की क्वांटिटी मस्ट बी सेम. ओके, सेम क्वांटिटी. लाइक अ थर्स्टी पर्सन शुड कंज्यूम अ ग्लास फुल ऑफ वाटर, नॉट अ स्पून फुल ऑफ वाटर. अगर एक थर्स्टी पर्सन है जिसे काफ़ी प्यास लग रही है, एक 1 ग्लास, एक पर्टिकुलर क्वांटिटी है ग्लास ऑफ वाटर की, ईच फर्स्ट सेकेंड थर्ड फोर्थ फिफ्थ ग्लास ऑफ वाटर, उन सब की क्वांटिटी सेम होनी चाहिए. इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट कि एक ग्लास ऑफ वाटर आपने पिया फिर आपने एक स्पून पिया. okay, or otherwise आपने सभी spoons पिए, it's not like that. So the quantity must be same. Consumption of goods should be continuous and the consumption of goods must be at a same particular time. ऐसा नहीं कि एक मॉर्निंग में आपने ग्लास ऑफ वाटर पिया, एक आपने आफ्टरनून में पिया, देन आपने इवनिंग में पिया, इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट, देन लॉ ऑफ DME विल नॉट अप्लाई. Diminishing marginal utility, this law applies when you have a continuous consumption of a particular good. Okay, so if there comes a substantial break in the consumption of goods, then actual concept of DMU will not apply. Like if one orange you have consumed in morning, another in afternoon, another in evening, the law of DME will not apply in that case, because it may not provide you same level of satisfaction. Units of goods should be very few or small. Of course, one more assumption, that the units of goods should not be very few or should not be very small. In such cases, the utility may not be measured accurately. Yani in such case, the utility we cannot measure it properly. So it must be some reasonable quantity. Okay. It is assumed that income of the consumer and prices of the goods which the consumer wishes to purchase remain constant. That is, the income which a person is getting when he wanted to consume something, when he wanted to purchase something, his income should not change, income must remain same, and the prices of the product must not be changed. So these are some of the assumptions or conditions which are required for the application of law of diminishing marginal utility. Otherwise, if these assumptions are not covered, then law of DMU will not apply. Okay, I hope you have understood the topic very well. If you have any doubts, you can ask me anytime. Okay, till then, goodbye. Thank you.